Hey guys, welcome to episode 4 of Howling Fury. Tonight we're talking about Heroes of the Dorm, who's hot, who's not. We'll also have a discussion on eSports, broadcasting, and ESPN. Finally, we're going to go over the abuse of Abathur and his split-pushing cheesiness.
Let's go into this. We don't have much time today, and we want to make this as much content into this as humanly possible. So the first thing we are starting today is with Heroes of the Dorm, the championship out there today. Definitely the most hopefully watched and played, and it has the most hype because it's Blizzard sponsored. And yeah, so currently, just to catch our viewers up to speed with what's going on that, it started a few months ago. It was announced, and teams from all over US and Canada, colleges and universities participated in it. So the total number of teams that started the tournament was like around 900-ish, and now we are down to 8. So there is a bracket that is going on, and we know what matches will be, and we're gonna talk about these matches. So the lucky 8 that are currently remaining in the championship, in the running: Boston College, the Western Ontario University, Indiana University, Connecticut. We have also Texas A&M, Arizona State, Berkeley, and Washington. Who would guess? Right?
Yeah, I think there were some upsets, especially in the top right bracket.
Really?
Of people
No
were upset
kidding.
about that.
And for those who are following our Twitter, you guys know that we each made predictions, and somewhat published them. So let's kind of, guys, talk about these predictions a little bit. Did we guess? First of all, who guessed?
Okay, so my top left results were 50% correct. I got Western Union. I got Waterloo. I bet Waterloo, but Waterloo didn't make it. My top right was completely off. Penn State is what I voted on, and what is it? Baruch College, and they never made it through. So that one was a complete failure. Bottom left, I bet on Florida and Arizona. Arizona made it, but Florida did not. And the bottom right was accurate. I got both of them right. Cal, Berkeley, and Washington.
That's really as cool as it gets. For me personally, none of it. Absolutely. Most of the schools I picked, they were out in the first or second round.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, geez, I had University of Irvine, I think, University of California in Irvine, and Waterloo meeting in the finals, and look at where those guys are. What about you, Nathan? Do you have any good picks out there?
So, my major pick that I thought is going to win this whole tournament is Western Ontario, because I believe in Canada.
Right.
But they and Cal Berkeley were the two teams that I got right. Everything else was wrong. I think everything else was a clean sweep too, a 2-0.
Yeah. Well, actually, many of these ended in 2-0.
Yeah.
And I think one thing we have to point out here, and our viewers don't know how these picks were made, so maybe we can shed some light on this. Like, Nathan, how did you make your picks?
Most of my picks, I just kind of looked at the overall team statistics, number of wins, losses, average number of kills, deaths, and I think average game time. And I kind of looked to see which teams had the lowest deaths and the lowest average game times to see that the teams that were more objective-oriented and tried to push faster. And I thought those teams would win a lot of the games quickly because I assumed a lot of the teams would be a little bit less organized and would fall apart when other teams start to get more objectives on the map and things like that.
Yeah, we know how important objectives are. That's definitely something we learned from the past few weeks playing this game. And what about you, Aaron?
So I mostly went the first 3 quarters. I went off of kill-death ratio, but the last quarter, which I actually got most of them right, I went through MMR research on each individual team lead.
Yep.
For those.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it actually paid off because it turns out I found out that Cal Berkeley has a 5,000 MMR player on the team, which explains why they've done so well.
So see, that's the strategy. And for my personal strategy, I did not look. Well, I did look at the kill-death ratio for the first maybe 4 or 5 schools, and then after that I was picking based on the colors of the flag and the name. And clearly I got the least of them right. So to sum it up, you see the different approaches, right? Like my totally random one, Nathan did some research, and Aaron actually went deeper into MMR research, and that's the way to make these. So there is a science, certain degree of science to making esports predictions. I mean, for those people out there that want to make some money
I think
on
it showed up in statistics too. I got like 2 right from my little research and got quite
most
a few
of them
right.
right, yeah? And the MMR thing is huge, apparently, right?
Yeah.
So on one hand, this is actually kudos to Blizzard for designing the MMR system that reflects the skill. You know, it's not that the guy had high MMR, but that really meant absolutely nothing and his team lost in the first round. It's actually, you know, he's making it probably, you know, who knows. So, looking at these 8 teams, right, let's say that this podcast will air on Thursday and it's way before the games are actually played. Let's try to make some predictions who's going to make it to the semifinals and to the finals and who's going to win. And we're going to log this as a time capsule type of thing. And then see if we got this right or not. So who wants to pick first?
Well, I'm going for Cal Berkeley. That guy, there's a guy on their team that plays Illidan. Unless they somehow take Illidan away from him, he's gonna win the tournament. Or like he wins like 90% of his games or something ridiculous with that character.
So you're saying Berkeley?
Yeah.
Okay, and what about who they're gonna play against in the finals?
Arizona State for sure. I'm like,
Oh,
undoubtedly, these 2 teams are making it to the finals.
So Berkeley versus Arizona State.
Yeah, I actually did not see Arizona State play, so I don't know how good they play, but I saw Berkeley play, and they play like they've been playing for years, so Berkeley is the team.
Okay, so we have one prediction locked. Arizona State versus Berkeley, and Berkeley wins, says Aaron. Nathan, what about you?
Actually, the 2 people that I have that actually made it in that I thought was Western Ontario and Cal Berkeley, and I said that they too would play against each other in the finals, and Western Ontario will win it.
Some Canadian pride. Very nice. Okay, so we have another pair locked. It's gonna be Western Ontario versus Berkeley, and Western Ontario will kick Berkeley's behind. Cool. My predictions, I'll use my old method, as unreliable as it is. I kind of like the colors red and white. So one of the guys that will make it to the finals will be Indiana University, in my opinion. And also I will go with Arizona State because it's like a McDonald's color. Very appealing for some reason. And those guys did research on appealing colors, believe me. So I think it's going to be Arizona State versus Indiana University, and Arizona State will take it. They will have the full tuition paid and all those epic machines and stuff like that. Somehow I believe in them. Unfortunately, again, like Aaron and Nathan, I wasn't able to see lots of games played. And we're gonna go into details about this right about now. So let's share with our viewers why we could not see many of the games.
So yeah, Blizzard genius plan of sending it only out to ESPN, so they can only stream it. And not only that, they're only watchable in the States. Or you need some sort of like state internet connection or something like that. I don't even know.
Proxy, and then a subscription to ESPN.
Yeah, you can't even proxy in. Cause I tried that. It didn't work out.
Yeah. So at least 2 countries are playing in this, right?
Yeah.
US and Canada. But everybody all over the world, they want to see these guys, these college bright, smart people play this tournament that has almost 500,000 prize pool. This is huge, actually. For any esports, it's huge. And kind of giving it to ESPN only, I don't know.
Yeah, especially because it's a new game.
Yeah, it's their first tournament. It's their big headlining tournament for Heroes. And
they just cut it off.
Yeah, putting it specifically for just ESPN. Did they say that it's exclusively going to be ESPN for the finals, or were they streaming anywhere else?
Based on what I know, I think they're gonna stick with ESPN, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah.
We can do the thing that we did, and most of us basically waited for somebody out there to watch ESPN and stream it on Twitch, and we watched it through Twitch. But wouldn't it be cool having Blizzard actually supporting it through Twitch somehow, or even on their website? I don't mind going to Blizzard.com or heroesofthestorm.com and seeing the action. That, I think it's a mishap, a little bit. The only kind of playing devil's advocate here thing that I can find is, the good thing, is that ESPN is a real TV station, right? While Twitch isn't. So maybe they were trying to prove the point that eSport is big enough to be also broadcast on, like Major League, together with NBA and baseball and everything else there.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's the thinking.
And I think that would have worked if the game had a large enough following and an established scene. But they're building the scene right now. I think getting in as many people as they can to watch is their first goal.
Yeah.
And I think having an exclusive broadcast, I think it should stay on ESPN because it'll bring in new players, people who don't really know that much about the game to watch it. But I think they should have left it on Twitch or something, some sort of broadcasting. So
Have like a backup, right?
yeah, so that way it's accessible to a large group of people, and you can start building the scene and start getting people into the idea of Heroes of the Storm as an esports.
Yeah. Because potentially this thing will explode. It's easy to pick up, but hard to master. The games are fast. It's good quality. It's a good quality product. They really put the money in it, and the world is your oyster at this point. Everybody wants to play it. The keys were sold for, I don't know, like $40 or something on these like eBay sites, and people were paying real money just to get in beta.
Yeah, they had their starter kit, I believe, that you could buy with where you get the Nexus bundle, and people actually were purchasing it just to get into the game.
Yeah, just to get the beta key. And even now, when they sent out, I think it's, 5 extra keys per active beta subscription to give away, these things, people still sell them. Believe me or not, like, we are giving them away on our channel and Twitter and stuff like that, so go check it out. That happens. But I'm not sure what they're worth right now. Like, do you know?
I have
like
no
a buck,
I have
maybe
not
a quarter, something like that.
something like
Well,
that.
it's a
There,
small amount of money, but hey,
Yeah. There's just so many like that they're giving away now. They're starting to ramp it up.
And I think they need it, because even on their development blog they said that in order to tune the MMR system better, they want more players. And as you said, getting more players is by just making it accessible to everybody, and that includes a major league event like Heroes of the Dorm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that was kind of their biggest fault. It's just not having it inclusive of everything.
Yeah. But hey, they have a esports team that's new, and I know a few people just joined it, so they are learning. And this is for Olivia D. Grace out there. She just got hired as an esports manager. I know it's probably not her thing, but hey, Olivia, if you're listening to this, make things accessible. We want to see this, even in Canada, and I'm sure everywhere in the world. We want to see.
Yeah,
these events.
especially considering a quarter of the teams are Canadian.
Yeah.
And it's very, very inaccessible here.
Yeah. Speaking of statistics, these guys from IGN posted this interesting infographic, and we're gonna share it. I'm gonna link to it from the comments on YouTube when this video goes live. So they basically broke down the whole Heroes of the Dorm into different sections, like what schools participated from which provinces. This is how we know that a quarter of them are Canadian. One interesting part of this thing was the hero picks for the first 2 rounds. This is what the graphic is for, and we have some stats here. So we're gonna briefly outline them and kind of discuss them a little bit before we move to our next topic. So I want to pay particular attention to the most selected versus the most effective heroes. So the most selected one, this was Vala. 10% picked Vala. Closely followed by ETC. He got like 9.9, which rounded up to 10. Then Rhaegar, then Sylvanas, and finally Tassadar. So on the most selected side, on the most effective, we have first place ETC. He is the most effective hero in the whole tournament. This is based on different ranking and kills and deaths and assists and all kinds of information. XP.
Is this not based on win rate? I assume this was based on a win rate. The most effective.
Yeah, like that's a major major factor in it, is the win rate. And then the second one is Uther, and the third one is Tassadar again, and then Zagara and Jaina. So let's discuss a little bit, why Vala is the most selected. What do you guys think?
She does a lot of AoE damage in a
Yeah.
team fight. When she doesn't get picked off early, her multi-shot does a ton of damage.
Yeah, I think it's also a case of she's just a solid damage dealer. She fits into most team comps, and she's just kind of a piece that you can just put into any team that you need a damage dealer for.
Is she the highest damage right now?
I think she's a little bit under Jaina. I think Jaina might be a little bit more damage, especially in burst forms. She can
I think
pretty much blow up anyone.
Vala is more like brings the whole team down slowly. Like she's not
Yeah.
gonna burst at one target and kill them like his air tool.
But
But
high sustained damage?
Yeah, high system damage.
Alright. And I think personally she has a little more utility. She has an escape.
hmm
You know, Jaina...
yeah,
Yeah,
She
Jaina is
suffers
more
there a little
about
bit.
controlling the other team, slowing them
Yeah.
down, and trying to keep them all together rather than trying to keep herself in good positioning.
And as Aaron mentioned, she's a bit bursty of a hero,
hmm
right? All the abilities, whether AoE or single target, they will usually deal large amount of damage, but defense-wise, I think Ice Block is really...
Yeah.
that's pretty much it for her, right? So what about the second one? Well, the second most selected and the first most effective, ETC.
Solid
Why?
pick.
Like, why?
yeah. I still don't
Uh,
understand.
He just brings a lot to the table. He's tanky. He has displacement. He can split push. He can split push and put pressure in lanes that are being contested, and then jump to your team when they're winning fights. For example, he could sit bottom while two people are pushing against him, and then jump in to your team of four that just dive three people and make it a 4v3, kill them all, and then
So he
move
is
back
that
on.
good, right?
I think he's really effective. I really like him, and I really like Diablo as the two tanks of the game. I'm really surprised I didn't see Diablo on here
Yeah,
at all.
that's what I was gonna bring up. Personally, I think Diablo is way more versatile than ETC. So it's really a shocker that ETC all of a sudden is most effective for some reason.
I think ETC, especially in the pro scene, probably has a lot of good strats that you can take advantage of. You can kind of manipulate a lot more with him, whereas Diablo's good at picking people off, and he's really strong in the early game, and he's really strong against teams who don't want to commit to fights. Whereas ETC can kind of punish people when they commit all at once, and he can also displace people back into your team if you do run away. He has just a little bit more utility in that sense.
Yeah, so it's very interesting infographics, and guys, look at that infographics. In fact, I'm gonna post it on Twitch as well in the chat. I know we have a few people watching us today, so if you want to look at what we're talking about, here is a link. It's gonna be up there shortly, and yeah, this thing, very interesting information. So we are running out of the budgeted time for all the talks about Heroes of the Dorm. We have our predictions locked, and we're gonna be back next Tuesday to see who's right, who's not, at least who's still in the running.
Yep.
I kind of have a feeling that my picks will be very interesting, but I have faith in them. Those universities prove me right, guys.
I think
let's-
Arizona can make it.
Yeah, Arizona, that's a safe bet. These guys have a really high win ratio.
Yeah.
I don't think they lost many. Probably none.
No, not a lot.
A lot, yeah. So let's move into our talks about this crazy stuff that has been going on with Abathur. This very interesting and special hero. And today we are lucky that Nathan spent, I don't know how many hours you've played that hero.
Quite a lot. I used to play him a lot more before the rework on his kit, but I still dabble into him every once in a while. I still think he has a place on certain teams, but he can be punished really hard if you don't have a good team.
Like I haven't seen him played a lot in Hero League at all. Like very rarely.
Right.
I think it
Yeah.
requires a very specific team comp, and he's very easy to counterpick.
So this particular thing that is considered like, oh my god, overpowered, and the whole Reddit is crying about this. There are topics calling to nerf Abathur. So tell us about that a little bit. Like, what is it? Why
So,
people
yeah,
cry?
I think the thing people are complaining about is his ability to split push and kind of punish teams that aren't aware of where he is. And the reason it's so bad is mostly prevalent in quick play because you can't really counter him. So good people that counter him are ETC, Falstead, people with global presence, so they can fly back and defend their base. Because what he ends up doing essentially is he places his toxic nest in your base, so he gains a vision, and then he tunnels in, and he releases his swarm of locusts into your base to kind of eat away at it from behind, using the ranged siege locusts that cannot be hit by towers, but can hit the towers for the full duration, and then he just backs using his Hearthstone. So it's fairly safe if they don't have any global transportation abilities like Falsteads or ETCs.
But it's your home base, so you could just hearth back.
You can, but by the time you hearth back, he's already hearthed out. Right? It's
If
the
he
same
notices.
timer.
Oh.
I think he doesn't have to notice, he just does it
Yeah,
immediately
he just
regardless.
does it the second.
Oh,
You
okay.
have to catch him before he even starts it. And that's the thing people are complaining about. There's no real counterplay to it. You just kind of deal with it after it happens.
I guess that's why they call it the backdoor build.
Yeah. There's a few people, Zagara also, ETC, Falstead, and people have realized that this is the case, and then they started doing teams full of ETC, Falstead, Zagara,
Oh my
and
god.
Abathur.
Yeah.
So
To
they
make it
all
even
teleport
worse.
to opponent's base and just destroy
And,
the core?
Yeah. I don't think they destroy the core, but they use it as a way of like split pushing and aggressively pushing, because with all of them together, they can aggressively push much faster than your team, and they're already in your base. I don't know how strong of a strategy it is, and I don't think it'll really work when you have like there'll be certain heroes that can counter it really easily. I think ETC is a perfect example of someone who can counter easily, because he can just take the global ult and just stage dive right onto you guys, and kind of punish the whole team that way. But there is a place for it, and I think it may work in certain cases. I think the biggest problem Blizzard has with it, why I believe they did say that they were going to change it, or they were going to work on it in some way, is that there is no counterplay to it. You just kind of
Yeah,
you
there
have
was
to
a
just go
tweet
back.
about that. They were asking the community whether this thing is annoying, and that generated lots of feedback, as you can do. And as you mentioned, in the solo queue, just random games, you can't even counterpick. You don't even know when you're gonna
Yeah,
see
exactly. You just get thrown into the game, and if Abathur's there and your whole team is a bunch of really slow people like Zagara and Siege Tank, you're not going to get back in time.
this. Unless you have somebody permanently bound to base, right?
But at that point, you basically give up a character.
Just to counter something that has global presence.
And that, honestly, he can just stop doing when he sees that you're not on the map.
That's a very good point, actually. He has the flexibility while you don't.
Yeah. You're kind of just stuck there.
So, I don't know. I don't know what Blizzard's gonna do. Do you guys have any theories? How would you change it?
The
Stuff like that.
simplest solution they can do to it is reduce the visual range that the locusts have, so how far they can see. So that way, you have to stay within vision in order for them to hit the tower. And as soon as you go away, then they run into tower and they can be hit by tower, and that way you have to kind of put yourself at risk in order for this build to work. And it almost removes that whole portion of his gameplay, which kind of sucks. Like, it's nice to have that option, but at the same time, there was no real reason for anyone not to back. You kind of had to.
Right.
Otherwise, you're just giving him a quarter of your keep for no reason.
And it's roughly a quarter each time, right? That's what you lose.
I'm not exactly sure how much it is. I have not.
Have you seen or played against him, Aaron?
I've not played against that specific build or strategy.
Yeah.
No, I've never seen it.
Yeah, I was unlucky to see it a few times. Played against me, but I didn't notice.
Oh.
The game was over so fast. One of them was like 10 minutes.
Wow.
We didn't even realize really what happened until we saw that we are missing 2 keeps on our base, while the gates and towers and everything is still somewhat there.
Wow. Yeah, I've never
This was
seen
very, very interesting.
I've been playing a lot of Hero League too, and I haven't seen that. I have seen a lot of murky Abathur plays.
I don't think you'd see much of that Abathur build in ranked,
Hero
just
League?
because you can counter it.
Yeah.
You throw an ETC or a Falstead in your team, and it's pretty.
So I don't know, like on one hand, it's an interesting build and there is a counter. So personally, I wouldn't remove it, but I would definitely do something for the random queue. You know,
Yeah.
there has to be maybe queue a player that's playing Abathur on both sides or something. So you know they can do it too. There is an option at least out there. Or as you said, there are heroes that counter him really nice. Queue Abathur against some of those heroes. Like
Yeah,
Abathur
that might
against
just become a little too complicated, and 2 times might just take a lot longer if they start trying to balance out team compositions like that. I'm not exactly sure what they can do for ranked, but I think if you're running into that problem, and you're, I mean, for normal play, for quick play, and if you're running into that problem a lot, your best bet might be to just go into Hero League so you can play that more competitive scene where you can counterpick. I think if you're playing quick match, you kind of know what you're getting into. It's just fun matches where people can try out what they want.
From what it looks like, quick matches, they don't really care about balance. Or, I don't know if they don't care, but it's more like a fun.
I don't think that's
Not too
a major
serious.
priority for a quick match. I think if something does get out of hand, though, they will kind of put it back in line, because a large majority of the players will play quick match over Hero League. So it is something that they will keep their eye on.
Yeah, well, definitely, and I think we're gonna have a chance to try some strategies and some plays like that in the near future. Speaking of the near future, I almost forgot that we have a thing, an event that we are planning for this coming weekend, right?
Yeah.
An event. So, Aaron, would you tell our viewers what the event is?
Sure, we're supposed to be doing a 24-hour stream. Is it 24 hours?
Yeah.
I can't remember the hours we're doing. Like 6 to
Yeah, it's gonna be 24 hours,
6
maybe
to
more.
6. Yeah.
It's going to be attempted 20.
Attempt 20, 24 hour.
Yeah.
We're already giving up on the 24. It's now 22.
Alright.
I think we're aiming for 12
Yeah.
Saturday, 12 Sunday.
Yeah, noon to noon.
Yeah.
So noon on Saturday to noon on Sunday, and we're gonna be alternating because it's a lot. We'll stream some games. We'll interact with the viewers. We'll have some giveaways. We'll have the keys. Maybe we'll have something more interesting, some real things that you guys may benefit. So for that, for you to know what it is, you have to come and see. Essentially, and follow our Twitter. Right. So that's this Saturday. That's going to be April 19th, I think. Is it?
April 18th.
18th. I'm really bad with
18th to 19th.
Yeah, 18th to 19th. There will be games from Heroes of the Dorm that we may watch while we are streaming. We even may do some commentary on some of them. I know Aaron has some fun games that he will play with you. I have some fun games I'm gonna play with you. Nathan will also entertain you a lot. So there will be music, there will be giveaways, there will be snacks probably. But you have to bring your own.
Bring your own snack party.
Bring your own snack party, awesome. There will be drinks, but drink responsibly. Stuff like that. So this is this Saturday. We're gonna post everywhere about that. And I think I'm rambling in this point, and we are running really out of time. So let's wrap this up. So my co-host this week, game developer by day, witch doctor by night, Aaron Walks Aquaria. You can follow him at Netherglaive. Mr. We Got This Guy is always in control, Nathan HP Sequeira. You can follow him at HPOC. Please do follow him. And myself, I'm Max Skeggy. You can follow me at IamSkeggy. So guys, for all the news, all the upcoming stuff that's happening to Howling Fury TV and this particular show, follow Howling Fury TV on Twitter. This is where we post most of the information. We are also on Reddit, in the Heroes of the Storm subreddit. We stream live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the show goes on YouTube on our channel sometime around Thursday, usually, if there are no technical issues. So thanks for all the support, thanks for people that are watching us, and you guys are amazing. Do interact with us more and come see our shows. We are saying goodbye, but for only a short time. We'll see you on Saturday, and then next show next week. Episode 5. Get ready for that.
Nuclear launch detected.